Okay, so I've got one email to go through, but that one email has produced quite a few setups. So we'll go through that, and then I might go through quickly, run through all the pairs, see what's out there. So um, got a few trades he's looking at, and he's also given me the breakdown of what he's exposed to. But in effect, saying in doubt on most of them, and it's just the major two he's looking at is this one. As a short trend continuation, it's got lower highs and lower lows there. That's pretty obvious. We're doing a messy, protracted phase two across here. We are below the moving averages. Yeah, horizontal resistance at 80.40. It didn't quite get there. That's this level up here. This red line he's highlighted. It sort of stopped at 80 cents. Which he's got the fib. Yeah, that's a reasonable place for the Fibonacci. Um, Which gives you the 50 fib in here and the 60 right on that sort of resistance level. So I don't see it selling off just yet. But we've got to keep an eye on the selling, and if it does appear, then be ready for it. So I'm just looking at that trend line. You've got that in there, and I don't know about that trend line. Let's have a look. Yeah, thank you. If you link it like that, yes, you've got that. So yeah, that's it's a pretty steep trend line. So yeah, this is not sure where I've got that there. Yeah, I think it's that high there, right up. You might see it if I bring it across. It's effectively this high here. It's around 80 cents. Yep, or 79, 75. That's why I've got that there. But this low here is the one I was looking at, which is 80.40. So, well, that's actually 80.50, that low, if we look on the daily. The daily here, the low is 80.51. So it's around that area that you'd be wanting to see the price get to and form, and might hit that as it hits the 50 EMA. The Fibonacci level you've gone from there. That's I think a reasonable call. You might have another fib in there from this high, and we can see that's somewhere in the vicinity of the 382 as well. But you've gone from there, which is a reasonable call. And that's the 61.8. So it's all there. As I said, I'm not sure if it's available just yet. Yes, this is a lower high and a lower low, and it's a seller bar, but I don't think we're going to get it, unfortunately. And I prefer to be selling it off here. It's a stronger point of resistance. So that's a matter of being patient on that one. The dollar yen certainly has bounced off a strong horizontal support level. There's a bit of a zone there between 105.40, which is the previous highs, and a long-term Fibonacci at 105.55, and there's also a Fibonacci around this one here, the 50%, which is 105.80. So there's about a 30 pip, 40 pip zone, which it's moved off aggressively from, and it gapped open this morning. So this one I do like. And I'm trying to get in myself after the gap this morning. So that's all there. You've got everything there that I would have as well. Fibonacci's right. So I'm trying to get in at 107.70. That's we've got the long-term fib. This one here at 105.57. The same fib as you've got, which is 105.80 effectively. And then there's this previous high here, which is 105.40. So it's reacted well to all of that. Gapped open this morning. I'm not going to chase it, but I'm sitting there at 107 even. to get in the order in. Stop is just underneath this. That's an ATR style stop rather than going another 100 pips down here. And yes, my target is 3 times my risk. It's literally 100 pips for 300 pips, and it's just under that previous stop. You have a limit order as well for the gap to come back. Yeah. This high was I think it was 96, 93. So I'm just trying to get in at the even number. That was the low bid for the point. Obviously, I need to cross the spread, so the low of the day needs to be 106.98 or something like that for me to be filled. The spread's around 2 pips. Yeah, so this needs to be 106.98 for it to be 107 even offered, and then I will get filled on my limit order. So just sitting there and waiting to get done. And you can see there's the 382 is also a bit of support resistance line. This is looking at the hourly, so looking to come back and fill this gap in here and then rally off that. So that's good. That's a good analysis. Now the rest of these setups, you've said that they're in doubt. Yeah. Well, look, I am still, as I wrote this morning, I'm still bullish the pound. I'm still bearish the euro. Yeah, it's had a bit of a reversal here, or what you might like to consider a pullback. The natural cycle of things would expect you to come off here. It hasn't done that, but there's a stronger resistance level off these highs, which it has reacted to. It hasn't broken this high here, the last previous high. So in the larger scheme of things, we are still making lower highs, lower lows. If you look at perhaps look at it on the weekly, you'll see that we're still making good cyclicity there. Nice little test of high test bar there. So I agree with you in this is a short setup. It's obviously gapped down this morning. It's come back to fill this gap, and this is around that support level, just there, or across these lows here. So it's, and the 50 EMA. Some would argue that perhaps that's a cycle above the market. Now that it's gapped, and that has occurred, I'd be inclined not to trade this on the daily, and maybe wait to see how the things eventuate, and look at if it does continue to fall. Don't trade it on the daily, but trade it on the shorter time frame, such as the 4 hour, because quite literally this could continue stronger. Fundamentally, I don't think it will, but there's just some doubt in my mind now that it's bounced off, sort of gone over this support area. Yeah, and it's now offering some form, over this resistance area is now offering some support, and you could argue that it's done a cycle above the 50. So I wouldn't trade this on the daily time frame now, but I'd look to, the momentum's come off overboard. Everything's there for this to cycle shorter. So right now I'll just, or from now on, I'd be looking at trading that on the shorter time frames rather than the daily, just to make sure that it is doing what we expect. Yep. But you've got the longer fib there. That's what, the 50 off that larger move, that big move down. You've got a fib off here, which is the 786. Yep. You're showing hidden divergence there. That's good. Doesn't seem to be trend lines resistance is there. Perhaps there is. Oh, not that one. Come here, mouse. Oh, gee, it's close. Very close. If had got to that, it would have made a higher high, which would disappoint you. So perhaps there isn't trendline resistance, but it's damn close to it. It looks like the 4 hours about to set up on the euro pound to go long. Yeah, it does. But you're not going to trade that long off that one bar. With all this selling here, you'd want to see another buyer bar. And if that's the case, then perhaps you could take this long if that's your argument that yes, we're now in trending higher. We have an uptrend in the daily. We've had a cycle above the 50 in the daily, and we could be taking that up higher. I absolutely wouldn't fault you for that argument. Fundamentally, I would be preferring to take this short, and so I won't be trading it long unless there is a higher low in the next 4 hour bar. But quite literally, I'd expect it to perhaps do a cycle under this and then to continue on short, because that would match with my fundamental view. So it's a matter of being patient and seeing what eventuates, and rather than just jumping in right now. Okay. Euro CAD. Well, this, you could argue this is a cycle, and what would this be then? Is this a phase 2? But you get a triple bottom here. It's a little bit messy, but again, if we look at this in terms of, let's go and have a look at the weekly. What we have is a cycle underneath the 50 EMA, and it's a bit of mess here. Cycle under the 50 EMAs, come back to test this area here. This high, these lows, $1.44 area, and it's now moving off that. The momentum is on the upside there on the weekly. Daily is certainly oversold, and we've got this now higher low. I would have preferred this to close as a seller bar, but if it gets down here today, then it's obviously will be a seller bar full of selling. But to me, I would have preferred that this bar was more dominated by the sellers than the buyers. So I wouldn't be putting a full 1% on this trade. I'd look at a smaller amount, but that's certainly, you want it down there. So this is still an option for a trade, though. Let's come back to that, which is, funnily enough, the same area as that horizontal I've got, a 44.50 area. So this is to me, a reasonably strong setup. Just wanted this to be a seller bar, not a buyer bar, and it's closed underneath that low or right on that low, so that's okay. But I wanted to be sellers. Yes, there will be selling if it gets down here, but to me, that would mean I'd only go with, say, 0.5% on the trade rather than a full percent. Yep. Your analysis is all good. You've got the same levels of I've got lower highs, resistance, horizontal resistance, convergence, bearish price. Actually, even have hidden divergence yet. Just it's quite a lower low, and it's certainly a higher high and momentum. So, but it's certainly there. Target the triple bottom of $1.40 gives you risk reward of 1.6. Okay. Yep. That's all good. So you said that one's in doubt. It's not as strong as I'd like it to be, but it's certainly not in doubt now. But the concern here is, and you're also looking at the pound Swiss when we've just looked at the euro pound. We looked at the euro CAD, and now we're looking at the CAD Swiss. You are aware that these are very similar. It's not exact, but it's a 98% correlation, and you can see here that it closed underneath that bar, whereas the euro CAD didn't. Euro CAD closed on that high. Well, you know what I mean. Euro CAD closed on that low. Yeah. So if we look at the CAD Swiss in comparison, it actually closed underneath that. Yeah. So it's not completely identical. but it's as I said, 97, 98% correlated. What are we looking at? You've got your fib from there, okay, which gives you the 786 support. This is a soft horizontal. The stronger one is obviously here. It did sort of tag that, and if you're looking to get in, you'd be above that, and be above the 61.8. You've done the interesting here is that you've done your fib from this, which seems to be the first sort of after the phase 2, the first close above the 50. And that's that's a reasonable argument and assumption to make that for your Fibonacci. And then just kind of line ball. What I was saying, where I was going is that if that's your cycle, that's where you should look at your sort of hidden divergences from the cycle to cycle. Yeah, I think you might have sort of looking in here, but that's close enough, I suppose. Let's have a look. Easy way to do it is say, well, I'm going to draw my fib off that, and okay, I still got hidden divergence. Even if you went from this one here, you still got hidden divergence. Yeah, I might have, if I was looking at drawing the fib on this, I would have probably gone from here. Yeah, this is, or maybe this one, which is just because this is really all sideways action. When it breaks out of that on this bar here, it doesn't really look back. Yeah, so it's either this one or this one for me. So let's start on this one. Yeah, and therefore it's almost a double bottom. But it doesn't break the low of that. And then if we come from that one, it's not much of a difference, but the 786, similar to yours, but that's quite literally where I probably would have gone from my fib. That said, it's just similar to the Euro CAD, not as strong as the Euro CAD setup. So, being that they're so highly correlated, I would tend to go with the Euro CAD setup, which is a stronger presentation. Yep. And the pound Swiss, again, is similar to the Euro pound. 1, 2 touches, 3, 4 touches, 5, 6 touches. Can't remember the Euro pound. I'll just bring it up. I think it was it was a lower low, wasn't it? Yeah, and we had that trend line. This is one we're looking at the 4 hour. That's right. And so then compare that to the pound Swiss. Again, these are very highly correlated. Jeez. Again, I like this from a fundamental point of view. Again, it's the daily is not ideal, and if you look at the 4 hour, it could be just doing a cycle. Again, so I'd be patient and see what happens over the next sort of when's the 4 hour finish in 10 minutes. So the next, and the following 4 hour bar, you look at it this afternoon and see what's occurring. Quite literally, we could be seeing a new cycle on the 4 hour. So maybe this afternoon you could be trading this short on the 4 hour, whereas the daily sort of presents itself as a long one. But you could argue on the daily that you've done a cycle underneath the EMA as well. So it's a bit of a tricky one. And yeah, I'd prefer to sort of just sit on it and potentially just be patient with it. Fundamentally, I think this should be going higher, but technically it looks like it's going short. So patience and see what presents itself, and I want to be trading it now. Yeah. Then we come to the pound Kiwi. Similar to the pound Aussie, this is obviously done a cycle above it. We have closed above Thursday. It is a buyer bar. Be looking at this. It's come off support over here, and we've got the Fibonacci. It's only just closed above the 50. 61. Right at the moment, obviously the Kiwi must be being a little stronger, but that's only because the POMs are still asleep. And I'll be looking at this one. I mean, I'm in the pound Aussie, trying to get into the pound Aussie. Just missed it. On other platforms, I actually got taken in by the spread, but my order's still staying there for the pound Aussie. Because this was full of buying on Friday still, and it may still get me in today with when the POMs open up this afternoon. Look for that to take that higher. So you've got all the strong reasons to get in there. Trend line support. Ooh, I'd query that one. Not really sort of coming off it, and it seems to be going through all of this mess, so I wouldn't say trendline support. Fibs, you started from that one. Okay, interesting. Pound Kiwi. I mean, that's a line ball call. That looks like it closed on the 50, but if you move that to, yeah, the 786 is stronger, and so is this 61.8. Yeah, fair call. It's just that trend line. So what are you seeing on the trend line? I don't think I'd see much on that. You could have a trend line here, which means you're nowhere near it. Or you'd have a trend line there, which also means you're nowhere near it. I think you must have gone in here like this, but you're still not quite on it. You might have done that back here, but now that it's broken and broken out of all of that, this is the significant low that you should have your trend line off, and it's obviously not acting as any sort of support at the moment. You could argue that perhaps there's a well, not even, there's no channel there either, not that I can see. So that's the only thing I'd say about that, is the trend line doesn't exist. One thing I will say about the dollar yen, all right, is it's unlikely after such an aggressive move down that it has an aggressive move back up. Okay, even this move down here, that was an aggressive move down, and the move back up didn't make a higher high. So it's rare to see such an aggressive move down and an aggressive move up. So with this one, I'm only doing 0.7 of a trade on it. Because I don't see it sort of coming back up here in a matter of days. I think it might be a slow grind up. And similarly with what you're looking here on the CAD yen, it's unlikely that such an aggressive move down will have an aggressive move back up again. So it could be a protracted phase one. Yeah. But it certainly came off a good support line here. There's a trend continuation, or you could be looking at this as a potential range trade. In the bigger scheme of things. You could be potentially saying, well, there's the support area, and here's the resistance area. Yep. And considering that, it's 700 pip range, and you're back at 95, which is 300 of it, which means you're kind of in the middle of it. Yeah. Which means you'd be looking at sort of 1-to-1. 250 pips for about 400, maybe. Certainly a big turnaround. It's as I said, it's a good setup, and it's been there. That's. I just don't know if it's going to get back there in 3 or 4 days. It might be. It's a nice sort of turnaround off the 2 there. It might be a long, slow, sort of scrabbly trade to get back up there. But it's certainly heading in the right direction. And coming into the Christmas rally, I see the yen weakening further, which would make this trade good. Hidden divergence, Class C. Yeah, it is a slightly higher low and a slightly lower low here. So yeah, Class C. Hidden divergence, bullish price action, double bottom, fib retracement. Yeah, it's not applicable. Target 99.8. Risk is 1 to 2. That's okay. That's good. Yep. Just know if my only concern there is because of it's as I said, I've only put 0.7 on my dollar yen, so because I don't see it running hard, and my concern with the dollar yen is this area here. What will happen when it gets to that? And I'll have my stop to break even by then if I am into the trade to start with. Yeah. Shall see. Technically, it's a good setup, but the capital allocation I'd be a little concerned about, or lowering my risk on. Lower highs, lower lows, horizontal resistance, fib retracements, bearish hidden divergence. Fibonacci's good. It came off the 50. It's come off the 50 EMA. It's all good. The Kiwi and the CAD are both commodity currencies. There's no real trendline resistance that you could have. Could probably look at it like that, but it's closed above it, so no trendline resistance. Is this soft? It's a significant low, and it's around there. It bounced off it when it came back there. 89.45 or 50. I don't have enough information to go back further, so you, with e-signal, might be able to do that. But yeah, it's sort of closed underneath it. It's a bit of a buyer bar, which is a little disappointing. But it's closed well underneath Thursdays, which is good. It's now higher high, higher lows, so you might just back off on it and say, well, it's not ready just yet. Right. So that's rest 1 to 7. Okay, good. So it's all good. Might leave that one there. Okay. So question has been on a. Alright. I've just got a couple. just come in. Dollar NOK 4 hour, he's still trading that. Dollar yen, having a look at that. Yeah. Yeah, just chase the market, so that's all good. The 4 hour that you're looking at here, it's come up, want it up there, it's come back to the 78, and it's obviously bounced off this zone here. RSI is 46, so that's okay. MACD is turning there, so that's okay. Yep, it's all good. And dollar Swiss, phase 1. Yeah, well, this is similar to the euro, which I'm waiting to get short. You've got an inside seller bar, followed by an inside buyer bar. Just need to be seeing one more. Right? So, just to explain that. Come on, wake up. It's frozen. Thank you. US dollar. What are we looking at? Swiss. Yeah. Seller bar, inside buyer bar. I wanted to see this bar as a higher high, higher low, closing above that bar, and preferably a buyer bar. Yeah. And then I'll be looking to go with it. To me, this is not strong enough yet. It's got all the reasons to be strong, but price action is not following through with that. Okay. And just on your dollar NOK, yeah, there's obviously this still strong trend. Quite a bit of selling here, and my history doesn't give me enough data to see what's up here that it's reacting to. Momentum certainly not yet overdone, so that does give you an opportunity in the 4 hour cyclicity to look at it. I wouldn't be looking at this bar, but now this bar is finished. It's also a doji. It's not exactly accelerating away from this zone, but you know, if it gets up to here, it could be doing that. I'd be putting a minor amount of capital behind the trade, but there's certainly reasons for you to take that. Yeah. Okay. Come back to the yen. Come on. Better trader's not normally that slow. Sing yen. Very similar to the dollar yen. If you look at your correlations, it's reasonably high. So this resistance sort of became support, certainly support again. Don't know if you'd go from there, but you certainly go from that one at least. And the 786 locks in with that. It's gapped open. Gapped on the open. It should come back and fill that. If it doesn't, then it's a matter of trading it on the shorter time frame. It's like the dollar yen. It's everything's there for it. Don't know if it's going to accelerate as quickly as it's fallen. So it could be a long, slow grind. That's all right, as long as you're earning interest on the way, which you should. The momentum's come from the bottom end of the angle, which is great. and you could also argue it's come off the 200. And yeah, this is all good. The only thing is I wouldn't chase the market. You have your limit order in here, because it most likely will come and fill that gap in. But if it doesn't, then don't be chasing it today. Wait for the 4 hour or the 1 hour to give you the entry on the cyclicity of those time frames. Okay. And Kiwi yen, Kiwi yen, Kiwi yen. It's not exactly alphabetical. What's going on there? It's a bit messy, isn't it? A lot of horizontals. Look at the moving averages. Actually, let's get rid of that 20. You mentioned that you're looking to go short. Not yet, obviously. There's a lot of buying. You might consider it, see what happens when the 50 crosses the 200 and you see selling step into the market at this point in time. Yeah, then you could look at it. Off the 50 EMA, off the 50 fib, off that support line. If selling appears then that's a potential short. But with the yen behaving as it is against the other pairs, that may not occur. What's the euro yen? That was looking good the other day off this massive bar. No, it was a Swiss yen, wasn't it? With the yen weakening across the board, don't know if you're going to get that, but certainly just be patient and wait for it to be looking at it. You can see there's quite a strong horizontal level, and you may get the selling there, and the yen and the Kiwi does tank off that, but yeah, that was just be patient and see what happens when it gets there. Don't know if I'd be trading it long from here. I mean, you could argue that it's a range trade, and that's you're looking at it up here, and say, well, we've got clear divergence. We've got the bounce off the 1.618, bounce off the support line. You could argue going long here for a range trade. That's a new little puppy in the house. That's a potential range trade there, and that could be an argument. I wouldn't fault that, but shorting, not yet. And as you mentioned, just be patient for it. Yes. Right out. I'll just quickly flick through all the other pairs. Puppy sweet, yeah, it's playing with the other two dogs. It's having a good time of its life. Pound Aussie, yeah, it's waiting to trade. Euro Aussie, I traded it on that break, or tried to trade it on the break of that neckline. Yep. Puppy overstepped its mark. The head and shoulder pattern. This is going to end in tears and that's why I don't like trading breaks, because it will end in tears. Went in with 1/4% and 1/4%. Should be patient and wait for it to fully break and come and retest that neckline. First and last time I trade breaks. But quite literally, if you're looking for a trade on this, you might get, with cycle 1, cycle 2, come back here and get another, potentially trade the cyclicity on an uptrend there, because it's broken this downtrend quite clearly. Yeah. Aussie Sing, nothing there. Like the Aussie dollar, leave it alone. Aussie Kiwi, Not convinced of the buy. There's reasons for it to get long here. I'd love to be long this. Um, Payback for the freaking Bledisloe Cup. But we are getting higher highs, higher lows. Um, it's just there's no convincing buying in the market at this time. So be patient and wait for that to occur. Aussie yen, like all the yen pairs, the yen weakness is coming back into the market. Again, you could potentially look at like the Kiwi, trade this as a range trade. Would you trade it as a phase 2 trade? You could, if that's in your stable of 1.272. You got into the zone. If trading counter trend trading is your cup of tea, then there's certainly something in there. Don't chase it. Be patient and wait for it. If you've missed the opportunity, get the cyclicity on the shorter time frame. Take Mitchell on as a new coach. Mitchell who? Drew Mitchell. You talking about the Wallabies? They had Jake White. They gave him away for to go with the Aussie, Ewan McKenzie, and at the time Ewan was pretty strong after the Reds, but he's obviously can't handle the politics and has decided to quit. It's left the ARU with 18 months out from the World Cup with a big hole. This one again is you wouldn't trade it necessarily long. You'd be looking at the cyclicity on this as the Euro Aussie upside down and getting a short position off this off the cyclicity, or waiting for that head and shoulder pattern to break. Aussie CAD, interesting. Retested that level, retested the 50, retested the what's that? 50. I love that shit. Retested the 50 fib, and then what do we have? We had a inside seller bar and an inside, lower high, lower low, unconvincing kind of doji bar, gapped higher. It's still an inside bar at this stage, so I'd not necessarily be. I'd want to see more selling, and the gap there makes me hesitant on that. Not enough of a trend going short just yet to warrant trading. Can't even do that on the 4 hour. So, again, I'd be patient and see. You might look at placing an order today as the Canadians open up and push this down by getting stronger than the Aussie. May occur. It's a matter of being patient, seeing. Aussie dollar, staying out of that crap. It's just messy. Cable. Come on, MetaTrader, you're never this slow. Thank you. Pound Sing. Your risk reward on that is not great. The pound Sing and the pound itself are very similar, right? The pound looks like it's doing a phase 2. Strong buyer bar divergence, clear divergence. Maybe enough in terms of risk reward on that to trade the phase 2. Personally, I think that there's a bit of chop coming around this because they're both strong, and so I'm not really convinced of trading the pound US or the pound Sing long. Quite happy to trade the pound long against other pairs such as this. By selling this pair, you're buying the pound. We've discussed that already. We've discussed this one. This one here is similar to all the other yen crosses. There's a potential range trade, or that high, I think, was the previous high, wasn't it? And maybe not. This one here, potential large resistance across there. And if that's your range, well, it's already halfway back, more than halfway back across it. Yeah, we should have been looking at it on Friday as a potential range trade, so missed that one. This one, it's also a little messy, having broken out of its previous range. Yeah, don't know about that one. Rather see a cycle above this support resistance area and above the 50 EMA, and then look to take that higher. I'm not going to jump into it then. Pound Swiss covered, pound Aussie we've covered, pound we've covered. That's the Euro Aussie, as I was saying. This, hey, no, I'm not trading. Go away. There's the head and shoulder pattern, you can see. Yeah, but should be taking on up here. Euro, would love to get short this. There's fundamentally it's the right thing to do. Technically, it's also almost the right thing to do. That trend line we can see there is 1-2 touches. Could be bouncing off the third on the monthly. Unlikely though, because on the daily it looks like it's come underneath and it's retested that. So what I want to see on the daily is closing underneath this low, 2740 area, a lower high, lower low, because yesterday was just an inside seller bar, but I want to see this sellers in today's bar, and then I'll be taking this short tomorrow. Fibonacci on this, you'd go from there. It's an obvious spot. Or even if you went off this one here, it's the 786. Yep. So yeah, all the reasons in the world to sell it. Just need the sellers to come in and agree with us, and that hasn't happened yet. Euro Aussie we've covered, Euro CAD we've covered, Euro Swiss not really going anywhere. Leave it alone. Euro Pound we've covered, Euro Yen covered as similar to all the yen crosses. Could look at this as a range trade. Could look at it. It's broken. It's higher highs and higher lows. It makes it a little messier than some, but you see that clear support line there. A bit of a resistance line. I wonder if it tagged that. Beautiful. Yep. And therefore it could be continuing to chop. Both of them are adding stimulus or looking to add stimulus. So it's a bit of a messy presentation. Compare that to something like the dollar yen. And again, if you're trading this as a range, it's made a fair way back already across the range. And some would argue, you're getting, you could take this as a, it's crossed under the 50, gone back over, crossed again under the 50, that look to short it across this, off this cyclicity. And my argument would be this support line here seems to be quite strong. And that resistance level seems to be quite strong. Yeah. Tricky. If in doubt, stay out. Nothing. No interest. Well, yeah, there's something. Range it back down to this support level here. Those of you like range trades. 1.618. these highs here. I don't have enough data to go back, but oh yeah, a bit of data. Where? Monthly. No, it's not going to give me that. Risk reward. Your risk is quite high. 150 pips. Your target is 1.5. Fringe trades, you think? Wouldn't even trade that as a phase 2. Choppy and messy. You might argue bounce off this if this is a higher low, but this, it's more of a sort of weakening pair than a strengthening pair. You look at it like that. Perhaps if it might be worthwhile putting a small amount on it, if this is a higher low, and buying coming in, and if it breaks that, then you're descending triangle concept, and it should sort of break higher. And good luck with this one. Back in the middle of the range. Leave it alone. A potential new phase 1 short. Again, be looking at it tomorrow morning. You want this to remain a close under that low and a bear bar or seller bar, and you could be looking at a new phase 1 short. Euro Sing, same as euro dollar, a new phase 1 short if this bar behaves itself. The ruble got a little stronger today. Nice high test. Again, I'd have to look into a signal, but I don't know what's up here, why the market's reacting to that level, but a decent high test bar there. Tried to gap open this morning, has obviously failed. You got divergence there too, from this high here to that high, or even the high test bar. Across those 3 bars, you got divergence. So, geez, it gaps even overnight or during the day, because that's Thursday morning, and gap to Friday morning. That's tricky and shitty. It's supposed to be a seamless market, and they do that too. That's not very nice. Yeah, so wait for this bar to finish, but you've got a potential. Let's say if it closes there, you've got 100, whatever that is, 103 pip. It's not 1,000. I can't imagine it being 1,000, but you're talking about, say, 106 pips for 200, so it's 2 to 1. Tricky trading the Russian though. Be careful of that. You guys still with me? Kiwi Swiss. It's like a Euro Kiwi. Walk away. Kiwi CAD. We sort of discussed that earlier in the piece. Swiss Sing. Some of the dollar Sing, I'd say. A dollar Swiss. Let's come back to a support level, a resistance level. Again, inside bear bar on Friday. Want to see this bar close a lower high, lower low, and there'll be potential trade on Tuesday. And you also want it to close underneath all this crap here. Yep. Otherwise, what we're looking at is a potential head and shoulder pattern, inverse head and shoulder pattern. If it just sort of does a messy crap here, you got left shoulder, right shoulder, head. That could be interesting to keep an eye on. Thanks, guys. Yeah. CAD seeing. No, walk away. CAD Swiss we've discussed. Euro CAD looks better. US dollar. Oh, yeah, 4-hour knock doesn't seem to be playing ball. Gold is sort of done a cycle underneath, but I do know, and yeah, it's a good area to potentially get short it. US dollar should get stronger in towards Christmas, which would send this short. If you're interested, it's in phase 2. Wait for it to come back and look for a new phase 1. And you'll find that with a lot of the currency pairs. This one, you take that trend line off and go, well, yeah, potential new phase 1. If this bar, again, this is just an inside buy bar, and I'll say that a lot on the US dollar pairs. Inside buy bar, wait for tomorrow. If this is a higher high, higher low, closes above that, and it's a buy bar, you've got a potential new phase 1 happening. And you could be looking at placing an order tomorrow, but need to wait and see what this bar brings. Okay. Same story. It's rather messy here. I don't like that. You can find better setups. I'd stay away from the ruble. The pole, that's just going sideways. There's no trade. Thanks. Knock daily. Yeah, wouldn't be looking at the daily. Be looking at the shorter time frames. Yeah, it's coming off the support area here. Again, I'd be looking at the shorter time frame. Just going nowhere this one. We'll sell it underneath this, otherwise you're looking to buy it. Yeah, again, you can't really trade that. That's just mess. I'd stay away from it. Same. That's a little hard to determine to trade as well. Yeah, it's a 4-hour. I'd say it's done a cycle above, but it's making lower ones each time. Yeah, suspect. Big support level here. Was resistance across here, and that's off that fib from there. Yeah. So yeah, sit on the sidelines on that one. Dollar Swiss were covered, dollar yen were covered, Kiwi were covered, pound kind of covered. Not so certain about it. Euro were covered. Aussie, yeah, stay away. Yen crosses. Kind of worked across all of these as well. Yen is getting a little weaker, but most of them seem to be range trading, and it's a matter of being patient. This one, is, as with the dollar yen, is clearly going, and you need to now, if you don't get the daily, look at the shorter time frame. That one, as I said, you could also trade as a range. This one, you could also potentially trade as a range all the way back here. Probably only have your stop underneath this or this rather than all the way down there, or use an ATR style to stop. This resistance line here would worry me. I wouldn't do that one. Again, there's quite a big resistance across here that I'd be worried about. Looked at that one, looked at that one, this one. Again, range trade, you might get a decent risk reward if you take it back up there. and I looked at all the others. And that's it for today. So there's quite a bit setting up for this week, either today or tomorrow. And there should be trend starting now again, and run until Christmas. So keep an eye open for them setting up, and you do get that Christmas rally, and there should be some great opportunities. Some of them may start this week. If you don't get in on the opportunities, don't fret, don't chase the market, don't panic. Just wait for the cyclicity on the shorter time frame. Okay. All right, guys. We'll talk again Wednesday morning, and hopefully we'll have some trades to be looking at and managing from tomorrow.